Peace, HHDG. We are on another episode of HHDG Media, the podcast. And shout out to everyone tuning in right now through our YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook group, HHDG, which stands for Hip Hop Discussion Group. As always, you can go check out our website, as you can see on the bottom banner, hhdgmedia.com. Go check out the latest music, interviews, written, as well as our live interviews that we continuously making an effort to put up on there. But you can also go to our YouTube channel for that, and also our merch and upcoming events. Shout out to our whole company, HHDG Media Inc., which consists of Rockavator KB, The Mayor, Skelly Top, T. Smith, and myself, Wiki. For tonight, we have an artist who puts a great example of what the grind can achieve. What learning from how this industry works, how the independent scene works, how the independent scene worldwide pretty much works. I mean, we all strive to have that, to tour internationally, but once you get exposed to that, you see I would say a grander picture of how hip hop is. And our guest for tonight will definitely explain how much this has helped expand, his brand, having that understanding of how to branch out, how to learn how to market himself with the other competition that's out there. And he's shown that through his skills. He's shown that through knowing how to pick the right producers, and also working with local talent throughout the time, like Philippine, Omega. These are just two people that continuously work with him throughout his career, and it shows. When you have a talented amount of people around you, you don't really have to expand too much further when you can continuously make dope music with those people that already have that talent around you. And he's got a ill Freeway series that's out as well, currently on part 4, which came out, I believe that was 2021. And also the new album, My Hometown, produced by 3 members of the Soul Council. If y'all not familiar with the Soul Council, you might want to go look that up, but we're definitely going to talk about that as well, and how that came to be, and how our artists from Ontario, California, not to be confused with up north Canada, has been making his waves with his skills emceeing, and also another skill he has that we're going to talk about, which I feel that has helped put his hometown on the map. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce 60 East. Peace.
Yo, peace, man. Thank you for that intro. That was amazing, brother.
Thank you. You hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right. Good. Man, before we talk about the album, we like to talk a little bit of history first, being that this is your first time on HHDG Media. Let's start with tell us one of the craziest places that you tagged up, being that you were a graffiti artist back in the day.
Man, craziest places. I'll definitely say it was somewhere along the freeway.
Yo, yeah.
there was this one time I was on an overpass. If you're going on the freeway and there's a freeway going over the other freeway, so we were
Hmm.
trying to catch the pass, and I like leaned over to try to catch the spot, and I was like falling over. I would have probably fell over, but one of my friends caught my legs before I went all
Ooh.
the way over, and they caught me and they pulled me back, and then I just kind of fell back into the car, and I was just like, oh shit, that was pretty scary. But yeah, that was probably the craziest place.
Nice, nice, nice. Mm. Now with your name 60 East, for those that are not familiar, um that comes with the freeway that runs through your area, as well as the whole inland empire area out in Cali. Um Tell us how you decided on picking that name.
So I always wanted a name that represented where I was from. Um and my family, they moved to Ontario from the San Gabriel Valley, which is LA, but it's also off of the 60 freeway. So it kind of represented, both, where I was coming from and where I came up at. And
Got
then,
you.
back to the graffiti days, we just spent a lot of time on the 60 freeway, and we just kind of became known for like the dudes that were on the always on the freeway and catching spots on the
Hmm.
freeway. So it was just kind of like a thing, like amongst like my crew and like my group of friends. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, we're the freeway cats or whatever. So when I ran with that, it kind of just made sense to everybody around me, and I was asking it, and everybody was like, "Yeah, yeah, that's the one." And yeah, it just stuck. Like nobody, I was going by another name prior to 60 East, and like people would always kind of tell me, they're like, I don't know about that name. And then when I was just like, and I was running with that name for years, like from high
Hmm.
school to about 20, 21, 22. And then when I presented 60 East to everybody, they're like, that's it. So it was kind of like an evolution of me growing up from, being just a kid into like, oh, I can turn this into a brand that's going to be marketable and identifiable, and this could be, like a household name type deal.
Right. Yep. That's dope. I always like to hear, the origin of people's name, because it's not always the same. And that I like that it's like what you were saying, where you were and where you're going to. I like that.
Yeah, it definitely felt like an evolution when I graduated, from the prior name to 60 East.
Hmm. Now you coming up, early influences with hip hop. You had a cousin that was b-boying. Tell us about, seeing that firsthand. What was the feeling going through your mind?
Yeah, shout out to my cousin Dirty Dice. I mean, even at this time, like it could have probably been anything, but I just looked up to this cousin in particular. Like he was just like that cousin that I looked up to and I wanted to be like. So he came over that one day and he started, and it was just kind of caught. I was like, yo, this is dope. Like, it was just like I wanted to do, and it could have got like again, like I think I would have like tried to copy my cousin just because I wanted to be like him. But once I
Hmm.
found it and started like getting into it and looking into it, I just fell in love with the craft of the whole b-boy culture.
Nice, nice. Hmm. Now around this time, was your brother also DJing?
Yeah, so my brother, I was always like the athletic one out of us two. My brother wasn't very, coordinated and good at sports and stuff like that. So when it came time to b-boying, like it was kind of something we were doing as a group, but he couldn't catch it.
Hmm.
He just didn't have it. But one day we were watching the movie Beat Street, and I was like, studying their moves, trying to learn some different styles or whatever. And then we see the DJ, pull out a record and start scratching. And then like I saw sparkle, like I saw a light over my brother's head, and then we're
Uh-huh.
kids, we're little. He's probably like in fifth, sixth grade. And then we run to the garage and he's like moving boxes around and he finds my mom's old record player and he throws a record on there and he just starts scratching it, but it's obviously like not a turntable, it's like an old record player. But
Yeah.
from that moment on, that was his calling. He started DJing, he started saving up to buy equipment, and then that led to him DJing and us breakdancing outside, and then like the rest is history.
That is
But
dope.
he to this day, like he's still a DJ. He's been a DJ professionally since high school. Since
Mhm.
that, being a kid like junior high, but as soon as he got into high school, he booked to DJ all the house parties, you know what I mean? And then that led to him becoming a club DJ and then just living that whole life and starting to produce and DJ like in Hollywood and all that stuff. So it's been it's been crazy. We're just like some hip hop kids.
I love that. That's dope. Let the people know what his name is, what he goes by.
DJ Metric. Yeah,
There you go.
DJ Metric.
Shout out DJ Metric. That's dope. Yeah, you definitely got hip hop in the family.
Yeah, I always tell people, they always ask me, like, yo, how did you find hip hop? I'm like, yo, hip hop found me. Like, it literally I was just at home chilling, watching cartoons, and it just appeared in the house and never left.
That's fire. Hmm. And speaking of people that are close to you, we got to get into the Freeway series and produce Omega.
Yep. So the Freeway series, I mean, the whole idea, like I grew up in the mixtape era, so I always liked how, like, Lil Wayne had his dedication series and Joe Budden had his mood music series. Like every artist had their series. So coming into hip hop, I was like, yo, I need my own series. And the Freeway series is a play on when the Dodgers play the Angels, and just playing off of my name, the Freeway series or whatever, or the Freeway. And yeah, I think I had put up a Facebook post and I was like, yo, any producers trying to work? Like I'm trying to put together my first official project. And
Mhm.
Omega, I ended up going, there was probably like 20, 30 comments, started going through them, and Omega stood out. Like I was like, yo, this dude is dope. And I reached out to him. We didn't know each other prior to that. And I just reached out to him and I was like, yo, I think your shit is dope. Like, what's good? And he ended up living like down the street. And I'm like, yo,
Wow.
what? This is crazy. And then he was just like, yo, pull up. And I pulled up, and the Freeway series part 1 was born.
That's dope.
And that was like my first official project, the 60 East, and that really just led to everything that's happening now.
That's dope. Yeah. And just like you explained about how the name and everything came with the series. Um, what wanted you to keep it going on, and what made you like to stick with one producer for part 2 and part 3, and then you had different producers on part 4?
Um, so I had told myself, like, when I started working on part 1, I had told myself, like, I had always heard, like, yo, it takes 10 years to pop, to become to making the music. It takes 10 years just to get there. So I always had that in the back of my head, and I've always been playing the long game. And when we were working on part 1, I had told myself, like, in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, by the time part 5 comes out, like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna have a fan base, and I'm gonna be able to, like, I'm gonna be able to drop an album, and people are gonna pay attention. And like, I had told myself that I didn't want to release an album until I got to the Freeway Series 5 and had a fan base that would be open to the album. I saw friends of mine releasing albums like every couple of months, and nobody paid attention. And I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna take a different approach to this, and I'm gonna do these 5-song EPs, release 3 or 4 music videos, and just build my audience like that off of every EP. And that was the idea. And
Mhm.
I had done projects before where I worked with different producers, and it's just always a headache. So I was just like, yo, to keep it simple, I'm just gonna work with one producer for each project. And I always like the cohesiveness of that when artists do that, because it just, it sounds to me it sounds a little more concise being the same producer. And
Yeah.
when it came time to part 4, I kind of it was kind of a compilation of just different songs and different producers I was working with, and then we put it together as the project. But I had wanted to do it because I had got tired of doing the single producer thing, and I was like, yo, I want to like
Okay.
bring in all these different producers and really treat this like a pre. Or it's basically an album, but I wanted to treat it like
Mhm.
as such, and work with different people. And I still haven't done a lot of features, but for my next project for part 5, I think I'm gonna do a lot of features again, just to flip it on its head
Ah, okay.
and keep it on its flip it on its head and keep it fresh and be like, okay, this album is completely featured. Since I try to keep it no features on all the other ones, that's what I'm gonna do, all features, and call it carpooling.
That's dope. Dope. Now you're, well, I would say is 10,000 hours a story of success. Would that be your debut album? Being
So it
good.
so it was like my first, and I made now it was really kind of just a bunch of songs I was working on 2010 to 2000. And so it at the time, I was promoting it as my album, but it was kind of just like my first attempt at an album. The album that I just dropped is my first studio album, so it's like my first official album. But
So,
yeah, 10,000 hours was
sorry about that.
no problem. But yeah, the 10,000 hours was my first attempt at an album, but it wasn't like an official album.
Okay. And with that project, you said it took quite some time to complete it because it was a difficult time. I don't want you to go and have to rekindle, what we was going through, but when did it actually, you start with that album?
So I started working on that album. Maybe like around 2010 is when I started working like on the song the way now. But a majority of it was around 2013, 14.
Okay. And the first single was Motivation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy just thinking back on that time, because this is when I think Pandora was king. Like Pandora was the only
Oh,
streaming
okay.
service out at the time or whatever. And it actually really did good for me because Motivation was my first song like on streaming services on Pandora. So when I
Oh,
put the word out to like my followers and my fans or whatever, and I was like, "Yo, I got my first song on Pandora or whatever," and I got like my first 60 East station or whatever.
hmm.
I had a good amount of traffic, like I had a good amount of people go and stream it, and it like it crammed into Pandora's algorithm or whatever, and it got me like on some big playlists or whatever. And that single ended up getting like over like 100,000 plays, like really fast. And that was like
Wow.
really one of the things that was. And I started noticing people like commenting on my YouTube and following me in different places, and they were like, "Oh, I heard your song on Pandora. I heard you on this station or whatever." And I started having like producers from around the country hit me up and like, "Yo, I heard you on this station on Pandora. Let's work," type deal. And yeah, so that was really like a big moment for me early on.
That's dope. Now I want to play a verse off off the project on the song The Origin. Sly Boogie's verse. And then I'm gonna go into the
Yeah.
video from there because I know there's a story behind that, and I
Yeah.
want you to let people know about that.
Okay.
San Diego to the border of Oregon and California, y'all already knowing the origin. North to the south, y'all holding key. So put your hands up for the Golden State. From San Diego to the border of Oregon and California, y'all already knowing the origin. South to the north, y'all holding key. So put your hands up for the Golden State.
From the west side of the killer California, E from the SD all the way to Lodi. Killer Cali Kush got me twisted off the motor, sipping on a 50 Hennessy with Coca-Cola. A slice of lime with an ice cold Corona. If you tryna holler, hit me on the Motorola. Zoning off a bowl with the aroma of the Doja. Got the mommies getting at the homies like hola. I spit the venom that's as potent as a cobra. Lay them down and put them all to sleep like a soma. Ain't no set tripping on this. We all soldiers. A politic with more flags than Pensacola. I'm all a visual mind, don't need a cosign. Call me the Coast Guard, patrolling the coastline. Send your contact. Take when the rubber hit the tarmac. Welcome to the gold mine.
From San Diego to the border of Oregon and California, y'all already knowing the origin. North to the south, y'all holding key. So put your hands up for the Golden State.
And that was Sly Boogie's verse. And I know you're gonna get into his inspiration for you. So you if you want to start, or you want me to go into the video from there.
Oh yeah, we can run the video and I can get into it after.
Okay.
California, no, it's a place like no other. From the Golden Gate all the way down to the southern. Know that we bang it, murder for your colors up, rob for your chain. This the home of the hustlers. No, we stay swerving, blowing urban and suburban. Where you hit the corner and they ask you what the word is. Sipping lean, blowing perp, holding up my permit. Know you seeing colors, dog, we lighting up the churches. Know the bottles vicious with the lolos and switches. Home of bad bitches in the power window sixes. We to leave you speechless. Palm trees and beaches, pieces on the wall, chucks, khakis and creases, colors and caprices, Cadillac and Hollis, home of Hollywood Kent, nobody find us. Banging block dog, that's the way that they taught us. West Coast state of mind, can't nobody stop us. From San Diego to the border of Oregon and California, y'all already knowing the origin. North to the south, y'all holding key. So put your hands up for the Golden State. From San Diego to the border of Oregon and California, y'all already knowing the origin. South to the north, y'all holding key. So put your hands up for the Golden State.
From out the Golden, where everything we speak be flowing. Slow motion like it sit on the ocean. 6-4 and that's 6 in the morning. You know the pose don't want it on some who's that. Looking at my eye, no warning. Caught slipping with no warning. So foreign, I was born in the California for your info. Informant, get the fuck from in front the funk. My pistol pump lead like a pistol pump. Official shit, yo. Philly twist blunt, run the city with affiliates. I'm Diddy at the trunk, at the Hilton drunk. In the hills with the mills, get in Hollywood. Bread for deals, so what you want freedom. You dumb if you ain't free, I tell my G, you dumb if you ain't a G, I'm the son. I shine, you just a daughter, you get sergeant slaughtered like a deadbeat father. Word
San Diego to the border of Oregon and California, y'all already knowing the origin. North to the south, y'all holding key. So put your hands up for the Golden State. From San Diego to the border of Oregon and California, y'all already knowing the origin. South to the north, y'all holding key. So put your hands up for the Golden State.
The origin. Oh, you're on mute.
Oh, so the story behind the origin, again, it was like I was working on these songs for this project early on, so like I already had me and Sly Boogie on the version on a version in 2012, and we actually shot a music video in Hollywood, but the quality wasn't the greatest. So we didn't ended up putting it out at the time, but we did release the song, I believe, and just kind of promoted it. And then when it came time to release the album years later, we had the song there still, and we were like, yo, let's kind of try to bring it to life. We'll throw somebody else on it and see what happens. And that's when I ended up getting Blue on it. And then we released it, and then it kind of got this whole resurface, and like it had a new life, and it kind of started making a lot of noise. And then I ended up asking Blue. I was like, yo, would you be down to do the music video? And at the time, like, he wasn't doing music videos, and for a long time, like, he didn't, not only did he not do music videos for other people, but he didn't really do videos for himself. But after the video that we did, I was like, I want to say I was with one of the first people to have a Blue in the video. Now he's like a little more open to it, but at the time, like, he wasn't really about it. And I asked one time, and he had told me no. And then I asked a couple weeks later, and I was like, hey, bro, like, you know, the song's doing really good. Like, yo, you think we could do a video? And then he was like, you know what, man, let's do it. And we were supposed to have the footage of Sly Boogie, the old footage that we had, and we were gonna try to incorporate it into this new video, but the footage was just so outdated. We decided not to use it. So we ended up just releasing the audio with him and then the video without him on it. And at the time, when me and Blue shot the video was, you know, I want to say like 4 years after the Sly Boogie footage, and he was incarcerated at the time, so he wasn't able to come in the new video.
Okay.
And and I know you had asked about the inspiration, but
yeah,
you know, so the early on, you know, back to the breakdancing days, and me starting to listen to the Wake Up Show in the 90s. I heard Sly Boogie and his cousin Dirty Birdie on the Wake Up Show one night, and I heard him claiming San Bernardino, and I was like, yo, these guys are from where I'm from. Like, they're on Sway, they're on the Wake Up Show. Like, yo, if it really made me think in the back of my head, like, yo, if they could do it, I could do it. If they're coming from the same place, like, yo, it's possible for me to do it. And then seeing where they were able to take their careers, and, you know, the success that Sly was able to have. To this day, he's like, you know, I look at him as the biggest artist out that to come out here, at least for my generation. And yeah, so that influence was huge early on. He's still one of my favorite rappers. And when it came time to working on the first album, and I had somewhat like a little budget, they were, you know, the label I was working with at the time asked, you know, if you could have anybody on the album, who could it be? And the first person, I was like, yo, I need a song with Sly Boogie. Just coming from where I'm from, like, that's my hero, you know, like, that's the one person I need to work with. And,
that's
you know,
dope.
we made it happen. And we ended up building a relationship from there. And then when it came time to working on my new album, and I had reached out to him to be on it, he had, you know, he's been out of jail for a while now. We've been able to like keep in contact, and I had asked him to be on the new album, and it was all love. He was like, yo, 60, like, seeing where you've been able to take it from the day that I met you to now. He's like, yo, I'm so proud of you. And like, he's like, I got you. He's like, anything you need. He's like, I'm in your corner. And you know, it's crazy. You know, I never saw that coming. I never expected that, you know, as a kid. And you know, just having that relationship with my OG is, you know, a big blessing.
That's dope. That's actually, Sway and Tech is how I discovered him back then too. And then, I mean, he was on a run like from 2000, probably around like 2001 to 2003, and then he dropped the Judgment Day album, which I remember had two different versions back then. Yeah, he was on a run. He had Jake One.
Yeah, the Judgment Day project was a classic.
Yeah.
That's the Inland. That's the IE classic right there.
Yep. Wow. And then and on, still speaking on the track The Origin, you also have Blue, who, like you were saying, he's another one who's continuously just success. I mean, he's putting out some great music right now.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Blue like going out as one of the most prolific artists ever. Like at the way he creates music and puts it out, like I don't think anybody can see him numbers wise as far as output. And again, Blue's another one like that. Him blessing me with that music video and me being one of the only people to have a Blue music video at the time was huge for me. And again, he's just something that our relationship has just grown since then. And he's done a lot. He's done a lot for me. And yeah, I'm just grateful for dude. Happy birthday to Blue. Also, today's his birthday.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Being that you saw your brother continuously pushing with the DJing to the point where he's booking places and he's continuously progressing and he's getting his being able to showcase his skills in more and more places. Was that an early inspiration for you to be able to have that type of grind to get yourself out there with the MCing?
Most definitely. Like I got to see the out the trunk out of my house. Like my brother was just it was just like an independent label being ran out of my mom's garage. He would print mixtapes, he would print up the artwork, and then we would just be printing blank CDs, you know what I mean, and just making the CDs, and then we would go out to high school and sell them at school or sell them at every party we went to. And it was cool getting to see that, you know what I mean? Because I always heard it from like Too Short and people like that. They were out here, like the pioneers, the Master P's, the pioneers of this independent hip hop movement. And like I got to be a part of it. Like I got to see it on a scale, on the local scale, straight out of my mom's house, recording on a microphone that's attached to an old lamp. You know what I mean? And like printing our own CDs and then booking our own shows and building a fan base from scratch. This is before MySpace even, so it's like literally just seeing it in the streets, like seeing people come up to us based off CDs we was giving out. It was crazy, and I'm just grateful I got to see that generation and that side of the everything. But yeah, nice. definitely a huge inspiration. Create business wise, but also creatively, because he's somebody that was always about the craft. Like he would be in his room banging on the turntables for hours, and just hours, and then I just hear him working on his mixing. But it was no surprise where he was able to get to where he was where he got to, because he put his hours in and he really mastered his craft. And also in the studio, like he was just the studio rat, always recording, always mixing, always mastering, always, figuring out new sounds or whatever. And, by the time he got out of high school, he already had like 3 albums, 2, 3, 4 albums, maybe, like fully produced and mastered by him. And at the time it is, like looking back and looking at my cousins that are in high school right now, like these kids aren't able to produce full albums, you know what I mean? Like, so it was really like some mind-blowing stuff.
And this is a perfect segue to talk about the Happiness of Pursuit event that you created in your hometown of Ontario. Where was your vision at to create this event?
So I was part of a label called First Dirt out of Sacramento early on, like in 2010 when I first started doing music. That's how I came in. And at the time they were already like established, and part of their game plan up there, they were booking a lot of like independent hip hop acts up there as like a headliner, and they would co-headline. And that's how they were able to promote their brand, build everything up there. So they were booking people like Dan Prez and Cannabis, Locksmith, and like more stuff. So I ended up being part of the team, show arts and I was catering how to build off of that into the name. So I started, learning, and then our whole grind was really booking our own shows because we weren't getting booked, so we started figuring out how to contact the venue and how to book acts and how to throw our own things. So that really
Right.
just started becoming second nature early on in my career. And, I had a daughter in 2010. My daughter's mom, her fan of buying in Ontario, shortly after our daughter was born. And, at first it was like a dive bar or whatever, and I started like throwing hip hop shows there, and then they started becoming a little more distant. And my brother walked in me one day, he's like, "Oh, what if we were to throw something bigger in like the parking lot? Like you think you think we could do as good as we've been doing with the shows inside?" And I was like, "I don't know, but I'm willing to find out." And the festival was born.
Sorry, I was saying, you've been going strong year after year. The first one was at 2017.
Yes, sir.
It's amazing. And has there ever been like a big musical event in Ontario like that?
Not an independent version. We actually have an arena, um,
Mhm.
which is fairly new. I want to say maybe within like in the last 10, 15 years. But as of, the past 3 or 4 years, the arena started booking a lot more music. So they've been booking, Drake's come through, Kendrick's come through, a lot of bigger acts, Lauren Hill's been here. But they've started throwing more like festival type events at the arena.
Yeah.
So that's something fairly new, but I feel like they might have seen what we were doing, and they're like, "Yo, we need to jump on, the market and do something official."
No. For anyone, I was saying in the intro, it's very competitive, and being that not only have you organized a big event, I mean, this is not something small, and it continues to grow each year. You also MC and you tour as well. So, tell us some insight that you've seen when you went from touring various areas of the United States to when you went to other countries.
Um, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Everywhere you go, there's similarities and there's differences. Some markets are more centered around trap music, and then the other markets are more centered around traditional like boom bap type stuff. And
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like every city has different things within that city. And yeah, I mean, it's just, getting to experience hip hop on a level is just been crazy in general. But yeah, just getting to see the different sound, and what sounds hot in Atlanta is not hot in Minneapolis, or whatever. But just being able to listen to this different music, and even learning from these different scenes and picking up things from different places that I've been and applying them to my own music career,
Mhm.
has also been a blessing.
With your style in rhyming, you bring a lot of your life into the into your music, and a lot of people, if they really are paying attention to your music, I'm sure there's certain parts of it, songs or maybe entire project that they can relate to. And How does that feel if any fans have approached you or maybe messaged you or commented that say that, you know, this has inspired me in a certain way or this touched me in a certain way?
I mean, it's great. You know, that's do it. You know, putting it out there and hoping it catches the people that are relating to it and, you know, can identify with it. Um, you know, when putting music out, you never know where it's gonna land or who's gonna hear it or whatever. So when it does catch the people you want it to catch and they give you that feedback, it's just like, yeah, you know, I hit that bullseye or whatever. But yeah, I've that's always kind of been the music that I've gravitated to, was more introspective type stuff. So I've just always kind of wanted to apply that to my own music. And I noticed the artists that are active and personal build, you know, these stronger relationships with their fans, because it's not like I'm just here entertaining you. It's really like we're sharing life experiences with each other.
Right.
So it just kind of makes for a stronger connection, and I kind of always wanted to have that.
That's fire. How do you approach your writing and creating songs?
I kind of just go off of the beat. I'll go through beats, find something I'm feeling at the time, and then, you know, wherever the beat takes me, I kind of try to let the beat be the driver, and we'll see where we go from there.
And you have a good ear for picking productions. Well, I have to give you that.
Thank you. I pride myself on that, and I attribute some of, you know, being a producer, but also an asshole, because he would be, you know, a language. I'm not sure if we could curse like.
No, it's okay.
But he'd be the first person. He'd be the first person if I would, you know, walk in the room and be like, "Hey, look, check out these beats my homie gave me." He'd be like, "Yo, turn that off. That sounds like someone smacked pot the pads in the back or something." And it really made me, you know, have an ear and have taste and start being able to identify quality, really bad recording quality, and again, having taste of being able to identify what dope is and being able to identify what's not dope. So thanks for that, because I definitely pride myself on beat picking abilities.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that, you know, I nobody should gloss this over if they listen to any of your projects is you have you worked with some really dope MCs, not just on the new project, but previous projects as well. I mean, Elzai, for Sean, you had Afro, was another young dope artist who I appreciate him and his production skills as of recent too, because he's definitely been studying and doing this thing with the production now too.
Yeah.
Where do is there times where people have heard your music and reached out to you, or is this, you know, through touring and you also reaching out to people that you would like to work with?
Yeah, mix of everything. Again, just being there, you know, you meet people, make friends who are on this person, and you build relationships with this person. And I think that also got to be like the taste and having.
Oh, I think we lost him. Let's give him a second. See if he can get that back. While we wait for him, I'm going to play off his debut album, 10,000 Hours, A Story of Success. enemies to friends.
Legs B. This one's called Enemies to Friends. Friends turn enemies, yeah, this shit gets crazy. The same dudes you love, man, and try and fuck your lady. Try and do you dirty and try and do you shady. Talk behind your back and tell your team they wanna trade me. You never believe the people that had to seat you. Low-key disrespected, wanted to beat you. Never wanted it all, I'm just trying to eat too. Gotta learn to limit the number of people you speak to. Cause some of these people, man, they out for themselves. They don't wanna see you make it, they just wanna see you fail. They diss you instead of hit you when you sitting in jail. And even tell your girl not to go post your bail. I hate to see a friend go, Diego and Blow, or Josh Harden and O, but that's the way that it goes. And everybody knows, stay away from the posers and keep your friends close and your enemies closer. If you ain't knowing the first rule of success, it's friends turn enemies and enemies to friends. The people that was with you ain't with you to the end, cause friends turn enemies and enemies to friends. If you ain't knowing the first rule of success, it's friends turn enemies and enemies to friends. The people that was with you ain't with you to the end, cause friends turn enemies and enemies to friends. These people don't love you, man, they just pretend to. See you getting jumped, won't even defend you. Quick to cop a plea, send you to the pen, dude, and even try and turn your own friends against you. They talk behind your back, but in your face they are your homie. Talk about support, wouldn't raise a finger for me. Seen them do it before, so I know that you're phony. And you wonder why that people always so lonely. It comes with the territory, you gotta believe it. Jealousy dwells wherever there's achievements. It's a well-known fact, y'all, it's far from a secret. Your best friends will turn on you like Judas did in Jesus. If you ain't knowing the first rule of success, it's friends turn enemies and enemies to friends. The people that was with you ain't with you to the end, cause friends turn enemies and enemies to friends. If you ain't knowing the first rule of success, it's friends turn enemies and enemies to friends. The people that was with you ain't with you to the end, cause friends turn enemies and enemies to friends.
Harder to keep them and easier to lose them. Wool over your eyes, you believing that you know them. True colors and motherfuckers, I can hear them. Scripts overnight, they just waiting for me to cue them. Hashtag set life, way they expect life to be what they assume till they grew to regret life. I stretch life into whatever I wanna make it be, and that they either wanna connect or play for me. Played it with jewelry, best friends is out. Nickel plated with toolery, dumb so your foolery. Know who I can trust, so anytime that I'm up, there's enough to go around as long as you know the sound. But the more you throw around, the sooner they write your eulogy. Try right mine, it be yours at the same time. Words from the wise you can take for the love, and time is money. When it come to mine, take it in blood. Talk to me, talk to me.
Enemies to friends.
Yeah,
Now I gotta
I see that in the video.
I gotta ask a question. When you were doing the chorus, and just before Sky Zoo rhymed, you leaned back. Was that your idea, or was that the director's idea?
I think it was the director's idea, if I remember correctly, because yeah, we had shot my scenes out here in Cali, and then I was on tour on the East Coast, and yeah, we had shooting a video for it. But when I on tour on the East Coast, I hit up Sky and see if he was gonna be in town that did. I told the video. So it was kind of like his foot was kind of like we had him for it kind of that. So yeah, there was two directors out here and directors in New York.
Yeah, That turned out dope. Like, I didn't want to mention who was on it for those who haven't heard your debut album, so I just wanted to play the video and then let them see who was guest featuring on there.
Yeah, thank you.
Skyzoo's one of the dopest out there right now.
Story too. He actually recorded the feature because he was I asked him for the feature. He was in LA, and when he was staying at his crib, Tyrese has a studio in his crib, so he recorded the feature and sent it to me. So that was a dope part of the story.
Now, before we talk about your new album, My Hometown, we got to talk about the dope track Wet Roads featuring Elzai, produced by Evidence.
Oh yeah. I had linked up Evidence time now at 2018. And, he was on Odyssey, and I had got booked to open for them at the Novo in LA. And I did my thing. I think I opened the show up, but I definitely stood out, and I had people coming up to me the whole night or whatever. And then I had
See if we can get him back. I think he's having a connection issue.
good.
Yeah, you're still in and out. Okay, I see you now.
We good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So after that show, I ended up connecting with Evidence, and he invited me out to his crib. I played him some music, and he said he would think about us working together, whatever. He ended up inviting me out, shortly after, and we just started working, and this song was the product of those sessions, and we had, I had that open verse, and I already had a relationship with Eli because we had did the Jericho Jackson tour together, and he had told me Elzai's a good friend of mine. He's looked out for me before, and he told me, you ever need me for anything, let me know. And when this song came about, I hit him, and he hadn't worked with Evidence for a while, so I was like, yo, I got this Evidence joint, man. I'd love for you to jump on it. And he ended up jumping on it, and we made that joint, and yeah, it was crazy. We got a crazy response. Evidence was happy, Elzai was happy about it, and they ended up connecting them on that song. They ended up reconnecting, and now they're working on other stuff together too. So that was dope.
Yeah, that's dope. I'm wondering if that track's ever gonna land on a project, because that's what I was thinking when it first came out.
Yeah, so it's crazy because Evidence is actually the person that gave me the concept for my album, My Hometown, and he's really good friends with Crisis. So I was like, there was a thought in my head that I wanted to throw that like as a bonus song on the album, but it was just kind of like, nah, I want to keep it strictly Soul Council.
Okay.
But it is gonna end up on a project somewhere. Definitely.
Nice. I mean, you just segue right into the new album because you spoke about Jericho Jackson tour, which is how you got in contact with Crisis, and then everything from there, to the creation of the new album. But what I want to know is, what was your role? Were you a coordinator, like an event planner or something for that Jericho Jackson tour?
So I had got booked to be I was the opening act, but as part of the deal that I made with Ninth Wonder, I would also be the acting as the tour manager. So I
Oh,
was
okay.
like, I was I was basically just driving the van, um, and yeah, just playing that role as their manager on the road or whatever. And in exchange for that, I was also their opening act, like the co-headliner of the tour.
Look at that. That's dope.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been down to pay my dues. If I gotta drive, if I gotta work the merch table, it's whatever. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And yeah, doing that. I mean, that was my first like official tour where I got booked. Ninth booked me on the tour. He gave me a salary. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna pay you this to go on this tour," and I'm like, "Yo, I'm like a rapper now." You know what I mean? So it felt official, and then getting to be in the van for a whole summer, with one of my favorite rappers of all time and one of my favorite producers of all time was a dream come true. You know what I mean? And yeah,
Absolutely.
getting to build that relationship with Crisis, and that I actually had ended the tour with the first beat from the album already. So we were like, I want to say it was the
God.
last show of the tour, and Crisis was like, "Yo, man, it's time. Like, what's up? You want to check out some beats?" And then the first beat was "In," which is I think track 10 off the album. But
Yeah, with
yeah, so
Rhythmatic.
that yep, and then that opened the door, and
That's
it's been a
fire.
run since it's been a run, wild run since then. Because
I was gonna say,
that
what?
was 2018, and
Oh, okay.
that was 6 years ago.
Made a dope album, man. And so at this point, Crisis is giving you other beats. And I'm sure some of those other beats or uh, on the album. But when did the other two members of the Soul Council come into play? Eric G and Soundtrack.
So while we were on the Jericho Jackson tour, I met Eric G in Seattle. He had came to the show. He lived up there, and we went to his crib after the show or whatever, listening to music. But that's how the relationship with him started. And we had exchanged information, and yeah, just when it came time to working on the album, I had just reached out to him and seen if he was with it, and he was, and that's how that happened. And then Soundtrack, I met Soundtrack through Crisis in LA, and this was towards I think we are already done with the album for the most part. We had it done,
Mhm.
but then when I started linking with Soundtrack, he ended up shooting me a couple of beats, and I wrote to him, and then we were trying to decide what to do with them, and he was like, "Yo, they kind of sound and fit with the album. Like, you should just throw it on there and just it's a Soul Council's theme." So he's like, "Let's do that," and I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do that." And yeah, that's how that happened.
That's dope.
And
And
it was cool too because I had got to link with Soundtrack when in LA, but also when I went to North Carolina to finish the album with Crisis, Soundtrack was in North Carolina also, so I got to get some of the other beats in North Carolina with him at Ninth Studio, all that.
that's fire, man. His flips projects that he's got out, amazing.
Yeah, soundtrack is crazy.
Man. Hmm. He's he's from Oakland, right?
Yes, sir.
Now trying to remember. Jake Palumbo did the mastering on this album, but he also did it on the project you did with Brownback All Star member J57, the 6057 EP that y'all did together.
Yep.
Was that your first time working with him back then?
With Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah. So J57 had invited me to New York to record our project, and he was also shooting a video for the JMO gang with Raz Kaz and Al Gant. They had a song with the DJ Premier and Atmosphere, and they were shooting a video for it the same weekend that we were out there working on the project. So I was able to jump in the music video, and then we knocked out the project at Jake's studio, and that was the first time I met Jake. And from there, I really liked his sonics, so I started going to him for he also mixed my project with Afro, and he mixed this album.
Yeah. Jake's been building up his resume, because people, saying exactly what you're saying about how he makes everything proper. So he's one of the go-tos. I definitely salute him on that, because I continuously see his name out there for work like this. And I had the honor of interviewing him with Ella Sensei in the past.
So yeah, I mean, the quality is good too, but he's also, he's good business. He's fast, you know what I mean? He communicates, he works with you. And I just like people that are professional, especially in the music business.
Right. Absolutely. When it comes to your album, how did you come about with the sequencing of these songs? Because it feels like it's playing out almost like a book to me.
Yeah, I just sat with it again, like back to me, just having an ear and having my own taste. I just felt I had listened to this album in different orders, but it kind of just wanted to me, it just kind of felt like, all right, I want to start it, with this, with saying this, and then I want to just kind of have segments throughout the album. That it was supposed to feel like, if not a book, like like a movie.
A movie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, it starts off and then it gets into the meat and potatoes, and then it gives you the conclusion. But yeah, I mean, I just sat with it. I definitely picked Crisis's brain. A couple of other people, like Feel the Pain, my older brother, also had their hands a lot on this project, so we all kind of just arranged it to be this way. But towards the very end, when we added new songs from the soundtrack, I kind of just put it together the way that I saw fit, and everybody kind of agreed.
And did you have, based on the guests that you have on there, were these all the people that you had in mind to be on the album?
Yeah, pretty much. Again, like every song, I'm, I would say even blessed just to have relationships with so many people, not only just through my music career, but also through the festival. And anytime, I hear somebody on a record, I usually have somebody's number that has their number and connect me with them, so whatever, so I could just really hit them and make it happen. And
Great.
I think we got every feature that we wanted, with the exception of on Out the Inland. We have Octane on there, but it was supposed to be both members of Audio Push. But
right.
Price was not able to turn his verse in time, or something that happened, but we weren't able to get him. But he was supposed to be on the album as well.
That's dope, man. Yeah, because I don't think I've heard too much Audio Push as a duo, and I know Price has been doing his thing. He got that solo project recently out too as well.
Yep.
Man. Mm. So if say this is my first time here in 60 East, and I'm, you know, I'm already a Soul Council fan, so I'm already getting to hear what you have to provide over their production. You know, what do you want them to get back when that type of feedback when they hear 60 East for the first time?
This kid is nice. This cat did these beats justice. Yeah, you know, I'm a fan of lyricism, so my first thing is always like that is this cat dope? And then from there it's like, is this a good song, or is it just, you know, good rapping over good beats? And
Mm-hmm.
that was really the idea, because I've been doing that for a long time, and I studied, you know, songwriting and all that, and I didn't, especially with the current landscape where there's a lot of, you know, just rapping over beats, no hooks, type deal. I didn't want to do that, and so I really made a conscious effort of having hooks on most of the songs, and trying to create, you know, songs that are memorable, and not just, you know, rapping over beats or whatever. So I would
Mm-hmm.
that's what I would want people to lead with, because I feel like, especially people that, if you know who the Soul Council is, you have to be a fan of lyricism and Little Brother, and you
Right.
know, artists like artists that have worked with the Soul Council. So I would like to, you know, be accepted as a lyricist. And you know, being a Mexican cat from Southern California, and you know, doing this project with the Soul Council, who's primarily, you know, North Carolina based, it's different. It's definitely a different audience. I've been getting a lot of love, and I saw it too when, you know, I got to tour with Ellen Crisis and tapping
Mm-hmm.
into that fan base. I wasn't sure how they would accept me, and when it came down to the music and to the bars, it was just like, yo, this that I got that love, and yeah, I definitely want to keep, you know, tapping in.
And you definitely are. And you've mentioned this before, and you continuously show it through the releases of your music, not just projects, but like with Wet Roads as well, just being a single by itself, of the importance of staying relevant. And it's not always it doesn't have to be an abundance of music, but being consistent with putting music out there for the listeners and the fans.
Most definitely. I feel like I went a long time without releasing music. I was just kind of in love with the touring side of things, and then I finally told me, like, "Oh, you're doing in this, what about the booth?" And it really made me sit back and think about, you know, what I want my legacy to be, and my how my catalog look at the end of the day. And like, the touring is fun, and I mean, as a performing artist, that's where we make a lot of the income. But you know, the
Mm-hmm.
catalog and the art is really what I do this for. And like, as I released my first official, this being my first child, I love the process, the being able to get creative with the rollout and presenting it to the world, and having a concept behind it and all of that. Like, that's the stuff that I love, you know. So I just want to and continue to do that.
Definitely agree. Yep. Um, is there like a key point to that you would say that an up and comer should should think about, you know, before they jump right in?
Yeah, I would say make a plan. Just, you know, have a goal, know where you want to go, and make a plan that's going to get you there. You know, the thing with the music business and being an artist is there's no one size fits all. Like, everybody's story is different, everybody gets in a different way, and it's just like, you just gotta, you know, walk your path, and it's going to take you where it takes you. And now that's all I can really say, because as much as I have a plan of getting to where I want to go. I didn't know it was going to take this twist or that turn or this jump or this,
Right.
whatever. And it just kind of just, it's going to take you where it takes you. And what you do with it is, kind of what makes your career.
Got you. How often have you toured outside of the US?
I think I've done 5 or 6 European tours. And I was starting 2015 from the end of 2015 was my very first European tour, and from there I was going back every 6 months up until 2020. And then 2020 kind of knocked everything back, and I've already had 2 tours canceled in the past year out there, just because of visas and passport problems or whatever. But yeah, I can't wait to get back out there.
What's a life lesson through the touring?
Just life in general. I mean, just getting to experience, outside of your comfort zone and seeing how different people live in different parts of the world, that has taught me more than, any book or any movie about this place or that place has. Just actually getting there, seeing the buildings, seeing the people, eating the food, learning the dialect and stuff like that. Just that life experience has just opened me up so much to just being, a better person in general, just more knowledgeable, more experienced, and all that. I'll just definitely stress the importance of, being traveled and getting out there and, learning new stuff, new cultures.
Yeah, I think one of the best things is to experience, another culture that you might have never been around. Just see how they live.
Yeah, most definitely.
Let's go into Out the Inland video featuring Triz, Octane, and also Sly Boogie.
Yeah.
Man, play some chill shit for the city. Just get right into it. Look, fire it up. I'm tired as fuck. Roll some weed, I'ma proceed to inspire these fucks. They been looking, they can't find nothing flyer than us. Shit. I told you, Lord, I remember back blocks, speed up in the stash spots, take it out, roll it up, get your blankets, fold them up, nod your fucking head when the real one talking. Watch your niggas steps when the real one walk in. I eat rap, catch your motherfucking breath. I eat beats on that young 60 East. A movie in these streets every time a nigga speak. Tell me that they fire, I hear it, they shit is weak. Like Wiz's patch back in the G, I'm on the street. Women backpack rappers and G's, they fuck with me. It's like a parade, I just wave and I say, cause I love you. How much fly shit can I say in under a minute? It's IE shit, ain't no games, ain't no fucking scrimmage. Just know that we playing to win it, my fans. Yeah, I love you.
Yeah, they know I'm bad at it, mad cause they trash at it. Smoking gas and getting used to these bad habits. The asthmatic breathing harder on these trash gas and smoking on this pack. I'm relaxing and I ain't gon' pass it. They wanna know how I do it and I tell them it's magic. You don't see it but believe me it happens. Getting at them if they yapping, this shit ain't just rapping. Niggas hella plastic, it's a tragedy, nigga, it's tragic. I'm on the roll of chosen few that's coming with me. I don't trust the soul cause niggas is hella iffy, so spiffy. I'm killing these niggas that wanna tempt me, move swiftly. They love me from the island to the city, it get gritty. The realest, I'm iller than any nigga. West really, it's a feeling that bring out the best in me. Hella litty, I be high as whatever, I'm sitting pretty. I know a bitch that got my name on her titty.
I got a bad hook with me and we riding down the 60. Rolling up the sticky as we about to hit the city. Already know it's all love on the West Coast. Home and Nipsey Hustle in the death row. We top tier and you know we keep the crop near. Out of towners flying in trying to cop here. No shot back straight from the op. Yeah, we get it all night. No, the party doesn't stop here. Yeah, reporting live from the west side. West Coast till I die in the next life. No test ride is fresh off the lot, dog. We get what we want. We don't ask what it costs now. Out here, you gotta watch how you move. Cause we ain't got a lot, but got a lot to prove. And homies out grinding, trying to pay their dues. So it's nothing to put you on the World Star News. Let's go.
They got him cocking back to strap for the get play. Bringing the smoke that's retroactive like back pay. Flicking the ashes from the back into the ashtray. Knock down a nickel, now I'm fresh out the halfway. The sneaky ass behind the back talk, you could dead it now. A gossiping man is as foul as a pedophile. If he moving through the streets, stolen honey down. Shove the muzzle in his pie hole and shut him down. He been a bitch since he slid out the pussy hole. That funny smell you smell is from his fingers up his pussy hole. You see, that's how they masturbate. Conversating with other dudes, hoping to get their asses ate. Follow the protocol, I don't argue with know-it-alls. But if you want the beef, I got that motherfucking stroganoff. You got your mouth writing checks and you don't know the cost. All that wanna be tough guy, bravado, I blow it off. Oh, you don't wanna see me react to that. You don't wanna romp with me, I guarantee that's a fact. Just sweet ass. You don't wanna see that, relax. Fuck that back and forth shit, I got a ski mask for that. So pick one, the morgue or the ER. This is for my fellas on that EBT and GR. All these suppressed people, they ain't as suppressed as we are. But don't trip, fam, one day we all gonna be stars.
Out the inland. Sly Boogie showing people that he still got it.
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciated that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm not sure if he had ever done a song with Triz or Audio Push up to this point. So it was cool getting all of us on the same record. That was really my goal. I was really trying to get, all the heavy hitters from out on one track, at least within, my budget.
Yeah, that was dope, man. That was like an El Posse track for the for the inland right there.
Yeah, that was the idea. When I was mapping out the album, I was like, yo, I need a anthem for the city and a crew track. I always liked, how people had crew tracks on their albums, and I was like, yo, I want one of those.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Being that we just featured the video with 3 guests, we also got to talk about the other guests on my hometown. You got a Blueprint on here. What was that track?
Yeah, Blueprint. Blueprint is dope. I just been a fan of him for a long time through his work with Rhyme Sayers and just how he runs his independent label and business has been inspirational for what I'm doing. So he's just someone that I thought would complement the song very well, and he killed it. When I gave him the concept of the record, he was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds perfect." He's like, I got you. And when he returned it, I was like, "Yeah, he knocked it out the park." And I don't think he had ever been on a Soul Council beat before either. So getting him, on a Soul Council beat, is just dope. Just being a hip hop head. And the DJ, the cuts on that song are actually from a friend of mine named DJ Edem, who is from France. He's based out of Paris, and he's like a super big DJ out in Paris and France and stuff like that. So when I got the concept of the song, I knew I wanted someone from out there. And I was actually gonna have one of my French rapper friends jump on it, but I knew like not a lot of people would understand it. But there may or may not be a version that comes out with the French artist on it.
Go for it.
That'll kind of be like, that's like the international remix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing I can't speak for everyone else, but I'm always listening to hip hop from around the world. So even if I don't understand everything that I'm saying, I still go and listen to it because you can tell when someone is capable of flowing and having a structure on the song, whether you don't understand it or not. I mean, look at opera music. I don't understand, what everything that they're singing, but it flows perfectly. It has a foundation, has a structure, and it comes together.
Yeah, definitely. I like same. I'm the same way. I had got exposed to a lot of German music and just European hip hop in general from being out a lot. So I definitely have a lot of cats that I listen to from out there.
It's dope, dope. Yeah, there's this artist from South Korea. His name's Sun Simba. I started listening to him last year. He's pretty good. Who else you have on the album? Peeps on a Pretty Ugly track.
So I don't know Peeps. Peeps is actually a friend of my brother's. When we were
Okay.
mixing the album, he said, he was like, "Yo, I got somebody that'll kill track," and he made a call to Peeps, and Peeps turned those vocals in, and I liked them, and we kept them. But yeah, I'm honestly not too familiar with her.
Did the thing on that one. And tell us more about Pretty Ugly, because that's also a website you have.
Yeah, so Pretty Ugly is actually the name of my label. I haven't really announced it or put it out there like that, but this is kind of like the rollout and getting people used to going to the website without the idea.
Mm-hmm. Oh. See if we can get him back. Yeah, that track that was track 8 off of My Hometown, featuring Peeps, Pretty Ugly. And as he was saying, it's also, let me see if we can get him back. It's also his website. And go ahead.
All right. Yeah, and then Pretty Ugly, like I was saying, is my record label, and it was actually a tattoo my friend's face ghost had on his arm, and he passed away. So it's always kind of been like a paying homage to him as well.
Respect on that. And then we mentioned Rhythmatic on the track In. Always killing the cuts.
Yeah, I actually met Rhythmatic through Crisis and Elzai on the Jericho Jackson tour. They had an interview at Dash Radio on DJ Rhythmatic's show, and that's how we eventually met and
Sound check,
we
yeah.
started building a relationship with him from there. And when it came time to working on the song, I had reached out to him and I was like, "Yo, me and Crisis got this joint that you sound dope on it," and he was like, "I got you. I fuck with y'all. I got you." And yeah, and he showed us that love. Shout out to Rhythmatic. That dude is a legend.
Yes, indeed. Yep. He just dropped volume 4 of his producer series, produced by Rhythmatic.
Yep.
Because I think that's another aspect that people seem to forget, is that he's nice with the production as well. So I always appreciate that he continuously is dropping those volumes.
Yeah, he just shot a crazy project too, I believe like a year or two ago. I can't remember the artist's name, but yeah, it was dope.
Oh, the one with J. Rawls.
Yeah, with J. Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Ross Matic.
Yep. That joint right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I rocked with it. I'm in one of the music.
Yeah. See if we get his connection back. We're almost there. Got a few more questions, and then talk about one more track with some features on it. That Soulfly track.
Hello? Good.
Yep. There you go.
Oh yes, I'm in one of those the music videos off the album.
That's dope. And I was just mentioning um the other track with some dope features, Soulfly track with Ciroc, Blue, and Stephanie Soul.
Hmm. Yeah, so I had the relationship with Blue already, and once I had the name Soulfly, I knew I wanted Blue on it just because he has soul, just that's something
Mm-hmm.
he plays with a lot. So I was like, oh, I think he would have fun with this one. And I don't think he had been on a I knew he hadn't worked with Eric G. I'm sure he's worked with Ninth Wonder and them, but yeah, he hadn't really had too much soul council music either. So it was cool getting him on that. So Rocket been one of my favorite MCs for a while now, and we had a relationship because I had booked her and Soul on the festival in 2019, and we just kind of started running into each other at different events that we'd both be performing at, and we've just been cool ever since. And I just knew, somebody, me and Blue on the song, whoever that third person is, better be able to hang with me and Blue. And I knew she was gonna go crazy, and she did. It was longer verse than expected, and it kind of seemed like she wanted that spot. She wanted, like, she was like, "Yo, stay on my way. Let me close out this joint." And I loved it. You know what I mean? She did exactly what I wanted her to do, and yeah, initially we didn't have a hook on the song, and then I just felt like it needed a little more life to it. So I had contacted Stephanie. Her name is Stephanie Soul. So I was like, oh, it'd be dope to get her on Soulfly. And
Mm-hmm.
she did exactly what I wanted her to do also. She just, brought some to life.
Yeah, that's dope. And shout out Ciroc's husband, Soul Messiah. Today's his birthday as well.
Yeah, shout out Soul.
We have we first before I bring up his comment, shout out the Village. It's a dope trio coming out of Texas. One of their members is tuning in. A producer, Keelan Donnell. He's a dope producer, and he actually he's affiliated with Crisis. Crisis is giving him his props as well. So definitely salute you, Keelan. I mean, we've had them on as well too, so definitely check them out. Check out the Village.
Oh, yeah, will do.
You see his comment?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, all right.
Oh yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, that as a kid, I take my curator job real serious. I'm always looking for new music.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to their music.
Okay.
Appreciate you tuning in. And one last thing, which is always important to me, because as you can see behind me, I have some vinyl back there. The new album, My Hometown, is on CD, and you also have that credit card flash drive. What was the concept behind that one? That was pretty creative.
So
Oh, I'm gonna put the link up to the Bandcamp for this, because that is where you can go and purchase the CD and the flash drive that we're about to talk about.
oh yeah, so the 60 East, you know, being a freeway, you know, out here you got those fast passes that'll, you know, get you out of traffic if you just swipe your card or whatever. So I always wanted to play with, you know, the freeway thing or whatever. So I was like, oh, this fast pass. If you don't want to wait for the rollout, you know, if you don't want to wait 3 months or whatever for the album to come
Mhm.
out, you can just buy it right now, get all the content, all the behind the scenes, everything I'm gonna post, all the versions of the album that are available, all the music videos before they drop, and we just did the way to get creative with it, and it actually did really good, and a lot of people, you know, was giving me props on that as well. And yeah, so I'm working on the vinyl. I mean, I've had the page open for a while now, but I just, you know, vinyl's expensive.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you know, I've just been waiting on pulling the trigger, but I've definitely had a lot of people tell me they wanted the vinyl. So it being my debut album, like I'm just gonna cough and do it. But I just gotta wait for the right moment.
yeah. I get that, but now you still did it right, because for the release you still had the digital and a physical available to purchase, so everything works out.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Before we go, I just want to give, like I've given you, definitely giving you your props on being able to organize an event like that, and not just an event, but in your hometown. Not too many people are capable of doing that. I know we have a lot of grassroots organizations that make efforts to do this, and it's not always successful, or if it is, if it does come to be, the to be able to do it year after year, I know is not easy, but with success, for it to grow, I mean, it can't get any better than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a journey of its own, a learning experience, a lot of stress management, you know, learning a lot of wins, a lot of losses. But yeah, I don't. It's not something I think I would trade. You know, I look at my wall full of the posters of the festivals that we've thrown, and I just
Hmm.
think, you know, if I could press a button and get all the money back that I've, you know, blown on these festivals and building this business up in exchange for all the relationships and everything that I've been able to do by throwing these festivals and stuff like that, I don't think I'd do it. I think, you know, these experiences are just something like money can't buy.
I agree, definitely. 60 East. The album is My Hometown, produced by Crisis, soundtrack, and Eric G. Definitely go out and check it out. I enjoy it. I'm sure you will definitely enjoy it. And again, like he said, this is a man of lyricism and relatability. And those two combined with Soul Council members, can't go wrong. So definitely check it out. And after you listen to My Hometown, and maybe even cop a CD, check his back catalog because he has a lot more to definitely be heard. And I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us at HHDG Media.
Well, thank you for having me, brother. Appreciate all the good words also.
Absolutely. I mean, I would say if I didn't listen to your music, I probably wouldn't be able to, have the conversation we did have tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. I could tell, you did your homework, and yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Absolutely. And also, I want to give a shout out to Silver and Gold, who I interviewed recently, because we spoke about you during the interview as you on her last album, Gold Rush. And again, another talent right there. So, when you see people that network with other talented artists, producers, even people doing things behind the scene, you see that there's a lot more success coming in hip hop than what is presented to us through the main typical mainstream. So again, you're a great example, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
For everyone that's tuning in, let everyone know where they can go and support, and also reach out to you.
Yeah, at 60 East 909 on all socials. And if you want to check out the album and all my music and everything, you can go to prettyugly.com, PURTY ugly.com.
Let me see if I can get that link up there one more time.
If you want to check out the festival, also it's at THOPfest, .fest.net for those of you in the Southern California area.
Oh, okay. Put that up there too. There you go. Anything else we can expect coming soon? Maybe a music video, or maybe a 60 East feature somewhere?
Yeah, I'm gonna be dropping the next music video off of the album in the next week or two, and I still got tons of content that I'm gonna be dropping off of the album for the next couple of weeks. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna be promoting this album probably to the end of the year, but I definitely got some shows coming up with Afro, promoting our new
Nice.
group promoting the At the Sideshow project, and
Yep.
and yeah, we're going to start making announcements for the next festival. And other than that, I'll probably just start working on some new music, being a dad.
Yeah, one day I got to get out to one of your festivals. Definitely got to get back out to California.
Yes, sir. Please do.
Definitely. On behalf of HHDG Media, we're gonna say peace.
All right, peace. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're always welcome back too.
All right, will do.